see you there.
My name's Keisha.
And I'm Rose. And today our documentary is on the origins of REI and the Mountaineers. Our essential question is this: how did outdoor organizations such as REI and the Mountaineers affect the Seattle community, and how has that legacy continued today?
To answer this question, we need a little background. Our journey begins here at the Mountaineers Program Center.
Here, walk with me. The Mountaineers were originally founded in 1906 by Asahel Curtis, Montelius Price, and Henry Lance, who were originally based in Portland, but they wanted their own group up in Seattle, and a lot of people agreed. By the second meeting, they had over 150 members.
The original purpose was rendering a public service in the battle to preserve our natural scenery from wanton destruction and yet make our spots of supremest beauty accessible to the largest number of mountain lovers. So, in plain English, they just wanted to send everyone outside and protect it. They started with local outings, which turned into multi-week summer outings for larger groups, and then a bulletin, magazine, and bookstore, which would grow into the Mountaineers we know today.
Cut to present day, the Mountaineers have grown to encompass over 15,000 members in the greater Seattle area. From parents exploring in urban parks with young kids, to teenagers in youth programs, and adults leading trips up to Mount Rainier. Membership in the Mountaineers encompasses people from all walks of life, including...
Hello, I'm Kai. I'm a sophomore at Roosevelt, and I'm part of the Mountaineers.
What's the community like within the Mountaineers, as you have experienced?
I love it there, and it's really how I get outdoors. I really like doing the hikes and the snow trips and the skiing trips. It's really fun just to be with a group of high schoolers and to be outside with them.
Nice.
What's your name?
I'm Sarah.
How has your experience in the Mountaineers impacted you?
It's been a really good experience for me. It's helped me gain a lot of self-confidence, and it's taught me a lot of skills that I can do a lot of things in the outdoors safely.
I am Birgit Grimland. I am a Mountaineers youth backpack leader and have been part of the Mountaineers for about 2.5 years now. It's been an amazing kind of welcoming community, and certainly I've been primarily involved in the youth and the parent community, but I'm surprised by how many parent friends I've made and just how much fun it's been.
I am Brent Acefalo, Keisha Acefalo's dad. Why did I get involved? I went down to Mount Rainier once when I first moved here and thought I would go down there just to see how high I could get, and I didn't get very far. And I realized I was pretty ignorant of the whole outdoors situation in the Northwest, and I thought I needed to do something about that, and figured that the Mountaineers would be a great place for that.
We all love the outdoors.
Most of us.
But in order for people to enjoy the outdoors in the future, we need to make sure we're recreating in a sustainable manner.
I feel like not only have the Mountaineers kind of created a way for people to become active, but they've really created this sort of sense of protecting the amazing sort of outdoors that we have here.
One of the main goals of the Mountaineers since the beginning has been encouraging people to get outside, but in a way that protects these resources for everyone in the future. They host classes and seminars on Leave No Trace and other sustainable practices, and in 2014, they co-organized an event celebrating 50 years of the Wilderness Act.
As Tom Uniacke said, a part of Washington's Wild, and said at the event, after 50 years and more than 4 million acres of wilderness, Washington has a lot to celebrate. Not the least, which is our quality of life. Seattle is the most wilderness within a 100-mile radius of any major U.S. city. This is the legacy that the Mountaineers have left today. Walk with me.
Since the beginning, the Mountaineers have been active advocates for the environment. From 1909, fighting against logging in the Olympic Mountains, leading to the creation of a national park in 1938, to helping create North Cascades National Park in 1968.
They advocated to Congress to designate the Alpine Lakes Wilderness in 1976, to now, most recently, protecting the Methow Valley and designating the mountains to Sound Greenway as a National Heritage Area. The Mountaineers have inspired and created change in the greater Seattle community and in the greater Pacific Northwest.
Well, in promoting the philosophies and the stewardship that they believe in. And at the core of that is volunteerism and getting the community involved. They seem to be very good at inspiring people to step up and do that sort of thing without being nice. So I think they'll continue their good work, and I guess it's up to people like me to figure out how to do that.
But before the Mountaineers had grown into what they are today, some OG members were busy making sure they were well equipped for their journeys into the mountains. Mary and Lloyd Anderson Pacific Northwesterners couldn't find good quality ice axes for reasonable prices in the U.S. To overcome this, they used Mary's German language skills to translate Austrian catalogs and order quality ice axes for $3.50. This interested their friends in the Mountaineers, who also wanted affordable gear.
Wow, so cheap, right? On July 21st, 1938, near the very end of the Great Depression, the first 23 members bought lifetime memberships to the newly created Recreational Equipment Cooperative for $1 per person.
From there, the Andersons expanded their operation from their basement to buying shelf space in the Richfield gas station in 1939 and into more types of gear. The lack of gear rental options in Seattle allowed for the creation of a thriving gear rental business that still exists today. Everett Lasher was hired as the first part-time employee in 1946.
Since then, members voted to incorporate in 1956, making it the Recreational Equipment Incorporated, although everybody still calls it the co-op. But now, everyone really knows it as is REI. Today, REI has grown to over 23 million members and 175 stores nationwide, just a few more than what they started with. With its roots planted here in the greater Seattle area, it's only natural that we visit the great store itself.
Hey, come in. Walk with me. Oh, look, an ice axe. REI has been a part of the scene with the expansion of outdoors in the Pacific Northwest almost as long as the Mountaineers have. They've had many feats and accomplishments over the 85 years they've been around. One of their greatest being the first general manager of REI, Jim Whittaker, in 1963, was the first American to summit Mount Everest. Talk about setting milestones.
Wouldn't have been a part of the picture since the formation of the Mountaineers Club. Over half of the original members were women. Back then, women helped organize events, shape club policies, and on hikes, they were allowed to wear shorter skirts. Truly something scandalous. So, let's go on a hike, in their honor. But for as long as Mr. Katz has been at Roosevelt, which is too long, hiking, climbing, and all sorts of outdoorsy fun things have been long dominated by men, and women, historically, have been left in the dust.
Correct. Girls are 16% less likely to be taken outside to play than boys of the same age, and 59.4% of girls aged 6 through 12 participated in outdoor activities. That number, however, drops by 4% by the time they're teens and continues to drop by the time they're young adults.
Because I grew up totally backpacking and hiking, and to me it felt like this was not a gender thing. And so I grew up here in the Pacific Northwest, lived in the Midwest for high school, and then went east to college. And I just assumed that I would join the outdoor club. And I went to the outdoor club. I went on one backpack, and it was absolutely crystal clear that if you were not like the girlfriend of one of the male participants, you were not welcome. And that story, that sort of 1980s, mid to late 1980s, that story of women not feeling welcome in like college outdoor clubs. I have at least two friends who they had the exact same experience.
Historically, groups such as Boys and Girls Scouts, starting at a young age, determine what boys and girls are expected to do with their free time.
Who's in the Mountaineers and in the MAC program before me, who have told me that the first couple of years that they were doing it, there were only 2 girls in the whole club, but as the years have gone by, I think we've gotten more and more women and girls each year, and I think that's probably true for the rest of the outdoor community as well.
Out here in the great unknown,
We're literally on a well-traveled path.
is where the real magic happens. The Mountaineers have continued their legacy of inclusivity by encouraging people from all different identities and all different backgrounds into the outdoors. On their website, they have a page titled Equity and Inclusion. There, they list their equity and inclusion statement. Reading, at the Mountaineers, we believe in a diverse and inclusive outdoors that inspires unity, respect, and passion for the places we love, as reflected in our core values. We aspire to offer outdoor opportunities for all and believe that the outdoors should be a place where all people feel belonging.
They also run an Equity and Inclusion Committee and collaborate with climbing and general outdoors organizations to put women, people of color, and LGBTQ+ people first.
Just like the Mountaineers, REI has been working to create a more inclusive outdoor community to combat the constraints of a historically normal image of an outdoorsman. In 2017, REI launched the Force of Nature initiative, which works to ensure that everyone is equally inspired and equipped for the life outside.
They continue this idea by offering more sizes in apparel, women-only events, interlock opportunities for women working in the co-op, dissolving unnecessary gender labels on beer, and supporting organizations that promote inclusivity for everyone.
There's been a lack especially in specialized gear, such as rain pants, sleeping bags, climbing harnesses, and plus and petite sizes. But since 2018, REI has doubled the sizes and clothing they offer, and often look to designers and brands questions and welcome feedback on changes in their making. This is part of the impact that REI has today and will continue making in the future.
Now you, stupid audience member, must be wondering, how exactly could REI stay around this long? Don't equipment stores,
Not including Patagonia, North Face, Kavu, Marmot, or Backcountry.
usually die out? How is REI able to face against climate change, which would totally ruin winter ski seasons, which is like their most important season to be selling at all? Well, let me tell you, audience member, let me tell you, stupid audience member. Back in the 1970s, when Miss Barnes was a youngin', so like 100 years ago, a group of ski instructors was burning some extra gear that they had, because it couldn't be used anymore, when they tossed in some extra Hostess pies they had, as one of the young ski instructors, Devin Washington, ate a Hostess pie every single day.
It was a bad snow year, but the next year the instructors tried again, this time using Twinkies. The burning of the Twinkies, along with some very cult-like chanting and singing, led to an amazing snow year, and thus a tradition was born.
It quickly spread across the country, with one report coming in from Denver, where they twitched some ski gear and had a record of 3 blizzards in a year, shutting down the whole town. Some parties are still held around the country today to celebrate the beginning of the winter season, in hopes of some fresh powder.
And here we are, gathered as a community, roasting some Twinkies in hopes of some fresh snow in the middle of June. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you learned something from this documentary about REI and the Mountaineers and the impact they have made on the Seattle and Pacific Northwest community. Cheers to you!